Hello, everyone. I'm Marie-Andrée Lamontagne, Director of Programming at the Blue Metropolis Literary Festival in Montreal. And here I am talking with Mrs. Patterson Webster, Pat, as she said, writer, artist, experienced gardener. She's the author of a book called Autobiography of a Garden, which I will show to the audience. It's a memoir about the creation and development of Glenvilla Art Garden in North Hatley. This magnificent book, with its rich and profound content, is published by McGill University Press, and we will say a word about it in a moment. But first, let's talk about Blue Metropolis. You were a founding member of Blue Metropolis, Montreal's International Literary Festival. This is the full name, along with Linda Leith. What was the original spirit then?
Oh, first of all, I think the notion that Blue Metropolis is celebrating 25 years is extraordinary in and of itself. The spirit at the beginning, though, was excitement. I think more than anything else, there was a feeling that we could bring to the Montreal world something about literature that took place anywhere and everywhere on the globe. It was a really exciting spirit. When Linda first approached me about getting involved, I knew her, but I didn't know her well. Now, certainly not as well as I know her now, 25 years later. We had a coffee. She presented the idea, and I remember being just jumping at the opportunity to be involved in something like this. It was a wonderful moment. I had been very interested in the promotion of French as a second language, so it was important to me that from the beginning, this literary festival not only involved reading and wonderful books, but involved language and French, English. Was Spanish there at the beginning, Italian there? I'm not sure. In the first or the second year, though, they became important elements.
Yeah, very early in the process.
Very early. Yeah. So excitement, that was it. Excitement. And you know, the other thing that I can remember from those early years is that everyone we spoke to was excited by the idea, the concept. So it was an easy sell as an idea.
So there was no such a thing as an international festival in Montreal at that time, literary festival?
No. This was the first. And I think others will correct me if I'm wrong, but in my memory, this was the very first international multilingual literary festival anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And
was it a crazy gamble to begin with?
No, it wasn't. Well, yes. I mean, all of these things are a gamble. That first festival, you held your breath, hoping that people would come, and that when they came, they would be as excited as you were, that they would enjoy it. It was a huge success, though, that first year. The second year, an even bigger success as the word began to spread.
You talk about the languages. Why would literature and writers succeed in bridging the historical gap between English and French in Montreal, let's say, in Montreal?
Well, why would they?
Because they did. They did with Blue Metropolis, in a way.
Yes, they did, for sure. And of course, because that's what you hope literature does, whatever language it's written in, and whatever the language of the reader. You hope that a good book, a good story, a good writing presents to the reader something new, some new idea, some new way of looking at the world, some different, slightly different, or some confirming point of view. So it was a natural way of trying to bridge differences and make connections.
Yeah,
which it did.
Yeah, yes. You said that that is what literature does. What is the power of literature?
Oh my goodness.
I have a huge question, a philosophical question.
This is a huge question. It certainly is. What is the power of literature? it puts us in someone else's mind as well as in someone else's shoes. It puts us in a place of that we might never, ever get to actually or imaginatively. I've always been a big science fiction fan, for instance. And this idea of imaginary worlds, what if? What if it always was snowing or never was snowing? What if it was always raining and never, or there was a shortage of water? All of these imaginary possibilities are part of what literature can make us think about.
And talking of Montreal, is Montreal attractive for an international literary festival? You travel a lot, you know many places in the world. What is Montreal in your mind?
Montreal is an extraordinarily fabulous place to be and to live. How fortunate we are who live here all the time to have this multilingual environment, and which only adds richness to our lives and to the context that we live in. I think that Montreal is a huge draw for people from around the world. I think that within the North American context, it has a particular taste, a particular flavor. And that where else is there in North America that has this richness that we are fortunate to share every day?
Yeah. And maybe it's a good thing that we cannot explain in details what is that flavor, that special flavor.
Quite right.
It's beyond languages. It's beyond languages.
Oh, for sure. The other thing, though, that I remember from those early years is the number of authors who were new to me. And I broadened my world immensely just through the breadth of ideas that came through those. I spent far too much money in the bookstores and loved it, and still have read and enjoyed many of those books.
Yeah. Now your book, talking of book, Autobiography of a Garden, McGill University Press, if there is one place that is perfect, that lends itself to reading, it is a garden. And it is that garden of yours that you've been creating for 25 years. The Age of Blue Metropolis, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah, is creating a garden as engaging as writing a book.
Writing a book is hard work. Very hard work. You go over your sentences, first of all, but I have to say, creating a garden is equally hard work. They're different kinds of work, obviously, but both involve both the mind and the body. They're both imaginative endeavors and physical endeavors. You actually have to press all those keys to get those letters on the page, and you have to plant all those plants. But first of all, you have to have the ideas. So for me, writing the book was a way of evaluating, of thinking about what it was that I had done. Sometimes you write a sentence, you plant a plant, and you don't know why. Why have I chosen this? And sometimes you go back and you look and you think, yes, it works. Sometimes you revise. So the process, actually, I've never thought of this before, but the process is quite similar in many ways.
Yeah.
This idea.
Yeah, I see. Something external and something internal. Also. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You are originally from Virginia with your husband, the late journalist Norman Webster. You live in China and also in England. This garden in North Hatley, we didn't mention it, but it's in North Hatley. The property you bought in 1996, if I read well, became an anchor. Can we say that?
An anchor? Well, an anchor suggests that it's holding you down. It certainly helped me to become rooted, even more deeply rooted in the Eastern Townships, the place that I love even more than Montreal, I have to say. But it also was So it wasn't an anchor in the sense of holding me back. It was an anchor that it was more like a sail that sent me flying. Yeah.
And what is its role in your, I would say, psychological balance in your state of mind, that garden?
For me, the garden is a place that I wanted to create a garden that was beautiful. That's where you start, I think, with making your surroundings satisfying to you yourself, however, in whatever way is satisfying. But very quickly, I became more interested in the history of the site. And it's an extraordinarily rich history on this particular piece of land that we are fortunate now to be the caretakers of. I wanted
there is a chapter about that historical part in your
book.
Yes,
yeah, that's right. Because the history shaped my development as a person engaged with the landscape. So I wanted to explore ideas, and history was the beginning point for the exploration of ideas. And I think the thing that became clear to me as I was writing the book is how much the process of working on the land, working with the land, shaped me. And it was a kind of reciprocal relationship with the landscape. And that's what I try to talk about in the book.
History is one thing. Art also is important. Is an important component of your garden. So the aesthetic part of it, not only the vegetal, the
well, the art for me again has obviously aesthetics are an integral component of art, but the art that I create is not created in order to be appealing visually. I create in order to appeal to the mind, because these are ideas about the history of the site, the things that relate to my personal experience, to our experience as a family. I started that first of all because of after the death of someone in my family, I wanted to remember my father in the garden, and I found a way to do that. And once I had done that, then I started thinking, how many other ways can I incorporate art into the garden? And I found that there are many, many ways.
And I think we can say that the world needs beauty.
The world needs beauty, yes. The word
beauty and harmony. So your garden is harmony, aesthetics, a story of harmony and aesthetics, lost, found, created, recreated, whatever.
Yes, it's true. You know, last summer we opened the garden to the public on 4 occasions. Once in June, once in July, August, and then fall.
And after the pandemic, that was the first time after the pandemic?
Yes, it was. It was. We had done it previously on a small scale, but last summer, I think we had around 2,000 visitors. And the vast majority of them, when they left or when they spoke to me, said that being here made them feel good. They felt a sense of peace and calm and serenity, as if, and that wasn't what I had set out to create, but that is what the landscape has created here. So we're going to open the garden again this year, 3 times on, see if I can remember the dates, June the 17th, July the 15th, and August the 12th. And we open as a fundraiser for our Massawippi Conservation Trust. So the $25 admission cost goes to a very good cause. And I hope many, many people will make their way to North Hatley on one of those days.
And people can do the visit by themselves, or they have to be in a group, in a small group, or guide?
No, you can, You need to register and pay in advance. It's $25 per person. Children 10 and over or 10 and under are free. You buy your ticket online on my website, which is glenvillaartgarden.com. And the space is limited, but you register for a morning or an afternoon visit. And you come, you get all the information, a map, and you wander freely on your own. It's a fine experience.
And then before the visit or after the visit,
yes, of course,
the book. You can read the book. You can get lost in that book, learn many things. Really, it's and really a good the content and also the design of the book. The design is
beautifully designed. I agree with you. I was very happy with the design that the publishers did.
Okay, so I remember the title of your book, Autobiography of a Garden, published by McGill University Press. You will find in every bookstore, good bookstores. Patterson Webster, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being at the beginning of Blue Metropolis. Thank you.
Thank you.